Hello everybody, welcome to the Evangelist Nick Garrett channel. Today we're talking about prayer, the power of prayer specifically. Let me start by telling you that what I give you isn't designed to replace what you might have with a spiritual counselor, minister, pastor, priest. Consider it as extras, if you will. The last video about anxiety, got a good response out of that, and it's such a heavy topic. I thank you for that. So in addition to learning books about Christian history and Christian faith, prayer would be the other pillar that I find to be of great value. I've shared before that I believe we all have a running commentary in our head with God. But I think there's something important about setting aside time alone once a day where you're speaking prayer. There's something really powerful about speaking stuff out loud. If you don't believe me, I challenge you to try this. Say out loud to yourself what your most grievous failing is, what your most grievous sin is. It's actually really hard to do. Once it is spoken out, it is true. And in the Bible, it tells us there's power in the very name of Jesus, for example. There's a lot of empirical data out there that shows sometimes people have found themselves in both natural and supernatural circumstances and ended up praying out loud and using the name of Jesus to alleviate themselves from the situation that they were in. It's a fascinating number of accounts that talk about this. Do with it what you will. We've talked about how, in addition to the running commentary, once a day we're alone. Look, folks, for me, some days it's 30 seconds. We're not talking about a huge undertaking here. But what you say is important, and it becomes more important the more you say it. I have a few things that are kind of like in my daily prayer. God, be enough for me today. God, guide me in the way that I should go. Guide my physical steps. Guide the words that come from my mouth so that they might be useful to someone somewhere. And most importantly, and this is what I wanted to get us to today, who are we when no one's looking? Well, what are some terms we could use to define ourselves? We can define ourselves as sons, daughters, spouses, husbands, wives, fathers, mothers. Because ultimately, these are the first things that God calls us to. He doesn't call us to perfection. He doesn't call us to depth and spirituality before he tells us by ordaining the family unit. We are first sons and daughters, and then we are spouses, and then some of us are parents. This guides your prayers really easily. And the more often you do it, speak it out loud, in alone time with God, you'll notice that your prayers are getting answered constantly. And that builds up in you a state of gratitude. And you live in that state of gratitude, recognizing that there's nothing you can do about tomorrow. And whatever has happened in the past, if you're blessed, you had some self-awareness and an analysis of it. But other than those thoughts, nothing can happen to change the past. Confession and prayer, confessing sin, asking God for the gift and grace regarding the chronic things in our lives that we know we need to undo, and we only can undo with the power of God. One of my favorite sermons is by a hellfire Puritan-style preacher like Jonathan Edwards named Paul Washer. His stuff is just crucial. I mean, he is really hard-hitting. I like him for good old-fashioned, just Puritan style, in-your-face gospel preaching. Jonathan Edwards, the Puritan leader, wrote "Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God," and his tone, Paul Washer's tone, is very much like this, and it's captivating, and he has all these great just zingers that are so vivid. And in one sermon he gives on prayer, he points out that the Bible is specific to say that when the disciples would come upon Jesus and he was praying, they would wait until he was done praying to address whatever they needed to address. That's a subtle detail to notice and a powerful detail. Paul Washer says they knew they dare not break that arc between Jesus and God, you know, and in his style of delivery, it's so vivid. And anyway, so yeah, the power of prayer in our lives. I pray that you could make it daily in your life. I have found prayer to be the most useful cornerstone to living a successful day. A successful day being the way God intends us to live, right? All right, well, God bless you all, and I hope that your work today bears fruit, and I hope that you'll pray for me that I continue to come along and that this work might reach people who need to see it. I am no fan of algorithms and censorship, and at this point I'm not trying to get viewers and grow my channel. I just don't care. I don't care. I don't care if you like this or not. I'm documenting an important time period in the Christian faith in the West. I'm trying to leave behind a record of our true history. And I'm trying to leave behind the empirical information that I find on a day-to-day basis that is truly part of the spiritual experience. If you'd like to read some of my work, you can buy a book, Amazon.com/author/Nicholasdgarrett. You can buy a book from the Just Tell Me the Truth About Christianity series, or Shipwrecked in the Land of King Tobacco, the First Washington Family Immigrant to America, working on Just Tell Me the Truth About the Reformation and Counter-Reformation. And you could also go to my website, evangelistnickgarrett.com, and there you'll see theological position papers for projects I have completed. I've done an in-depth theological position on the book of Jasher. You'll find videos on that, 3 parts. I've done a video and a theological position on whether or not I think the end times are imminent. And that's also a very interesting topic, and you can read the paper on that. There are some gimmicky products below, which I don't encourage. If you want to contribute to the work we do, there is a PayPal. Feel free, but there's no pressure to do it. What I will ask is, if it strikes your mind, what would it be like to support Evangelist Nick Garrett? Just pray about it. God will tell you whether you should donate or not. That's kind of how I feel about it. You'll know by prayer. So anyway, God bless you. May your work today bear fruit. Thanks.